What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys, as you guys can tell from that title, more Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reviews, and it's time for chapter 210, entitled Offering to the Unknown 2. Now, right out of the gate, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't really care for this chapter. Just in general, I did not care for this chapter because the cutaways and the breaking up of the scenes was jarring. It was borderline atrocious when you think about the fact that they just keep cutting away. And I know what this chapter was trying to do. It was trying to do that sort of fake out sort of thing. One Piece just did it in their last chapter. It's like, alright, who are they talking about? What is this scene about? Who are these characters? And you find out at the end of the chapter. The problem is, the way this one was broken up, it just kept cutting away to all these different scenes in between. And it's like, can we please stick to one thing? Not only that, but because there's none of that usual, like in flashbacks, the white background on manga pages usually is black to indicate, okay, this is not in the present storyline, this is a flashback or so. That's not here. There's no title card or anything to let us know. So even though it's only the first few pages, on the first page I'm trying to figure out, the first couple pages I'm trying to figure out, okay, where is this in the Cullen game? What is this curse? Who's not the mother? What's going on, right? I'm trying to figure that all out, and I know that we get the answer to this, but once again, it's like I didn't know what I was reading at first. Then we jump away to, okay, I guess they defeated the soldiers and captured one? Like, remember the end of the last chapter was, alright, he's like, time to kick some ass. Taking names and kicking ass was with Fushiguro, and then now all of a sudden we're jumping away. So right out of the gate, I just felt this was kind of jarring. Maybe it's just me, but that's how I felt. And then, because once again, if you're going to tell, her backstory, if we're going to go off on that and we're going to tell her backstory, then why not just do it all in one shot? Why not do it all in one shot? We didn't need this opening drag of the pages. They could have combined that whole thing when she was thinking about it later on down the chapter. That's what I'm saying. The placement of where these scenes were was just, nothing seemed to add up correctly, And then, as I said, when we jump back to the present, there's no indication. It's like, okay, like as I said, you read this chapter and you still think that might be going on in the Cullen game somewhere. You have no indication that it's not. And then we jump away and all of a sudden, 209, I think there's a little, I was like, am I missing pages? When did they defeat all the soldiers? They really did that off screen? Okay, I mean, I know it wasn't going to be a fun fight or anything like that, but it would have been cool to see them take them down, So, either way, they capture a guy who's apparently a traitor. He's Japanese or something like that, and they're talking about Kenjaku's plan, the government, the overcomplication of the Cullen game, something that I bitched about when we first got the Cullen game, and it was a slew of rules longer than a hardcore Nuzlocke, set of rules here, and it was like, alright, Jesus, this is getting a little overcomplicated, If you want to just have a tournament arc, do a tournament arc, right? But apparently it was all part of Kenjaku's master plan and such, right? So they talk about that a little bit, yada yada yada. Now this is where they're realizing the full extent, and there's a callback to Reggie saying, do you think Kenjaku's just doing this with no other plan, no other grand scheme going on? And he was right. Yuji has a good moment saying like, alright, let's save the soldiers and stuff. Takuma has a funny ass moment where he just like, save the soldiers, they want to kidnap us, mess with our bodies, maybe even do lewd things, ooh, and I'm like, alright, he really is the comedian, he's just fun, I really like him. And this is where, like, once again, Yuji's like, yeah, let's go help them, let's go save them. Angel brings up like, alright, there's no reason to do this, trying to play the logic game, and it's like, okay, at no point, like, once again, this is where also the dialogue got a little odd to me as well, because not just the jumping of scenes later on, as I said, and the breaking up of certain scenes, but the fact that, okay, so we jumped away from Hannah's flashback, we don't know it's her flashback yet, we jump away from her flashback to get to this scene that skipped the fight. Then we get all this dialogue where it's like, Yuji says, great, go save them, sure, but then she's trying to talk about all the logic, or Angel might be a guy, who knows, says, in Togecolon 1, there's already enough cursed energy and stuff. He's like, so what? And he's like, well, the result won't change. And it's like, so what? I'm telling you, it's pointless. So what? At no point does anybody bring up, at no point, and this is, once again, I think it's obvious, I guess, but They're still having the scene and conversation anyway, so at no point did Yuji just bring up, because he's saying, so what, so what, so what? No, like, it's a cool line, but where's the argument that, wait, it's not pointless? Like, Angel's straight up wrong, because it's not like it's pointless, they're going to die anyways. No, it's not pointless. They can go save them. They can actually save people from being killed. There is a difference if they go to help. So, it's not pointless, and nobody brings this fact up. You know, it's not like one of those, even if you go, nothing will change. That's the argument Angel's presenting, and it's flat out wrong. And even though Yuji has a cool line saying, so what? So what? And doesn't change his mind. Fantastic. But once again, it's a dumb argument to have in the first place. So I'm like, alright, whatever. And then, just to add the cherry on top of this thing, Fushiguro and Takaba are staying out of the quarreling, as Takaba calls it. And then Sukuna, well, not Sukuna, but Yuji is talking about both Sukuna, which once again, stupid on Yuji for doing this. Because later on in the chapter we find out, and this, as I said, I did not really care for this chapter because every scene seemed to have a problem with it, like this one. Like, so not only is there no good, like, you kind of have to read between the lines, like, wait a minute now, they can still save lives. It's not pointless. Nothing will change. Yes, it will. Less people will be dead. So, dumb argument. And then at the end of the argument here, he brings up, I've never trusted any of you. And Angel becomes silent. Like, don't order us around. I've never trusted any of you. Implying Sukuna. Fushiguro even brings up, that's who you were talking about, right? You're trying to keep the whole that the fallen one's inside of you a secret, you dumbass. Like, why would you bring that up 2 minutes after being like, crazy sign language in background, Sukuna inside me, fallen one. You know, why go through all that if you're basically going to imply that you know where Sukuna is or something like Angel you've encountered before? Angel's silent about this because probably, why are you giving a motive? Why are you doing that? And this is where I don't understand this line at all. So this is where Hana says, were you talking to Angel or to me? And it's like, alright, fair enough. Like, I've never trusted any of you. Or were you talking to Angel or to me? It's like, that's a fair question. But then, how disgusting. Like, wait a minute, what? So, at first I was like, is this continuing into the next scene? But I don't think it is. I think that's literally her response to Yuji. Were you talking to Angel or to me? How disgusting. What's disgusting? Not trusting? How is that disgusting? How disgusting. How disgusting you don't trust me. No, who talks like that? Who says when you say, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of yours. How disgusting. That is not what somebody says when somebody says something negative about you. That is, like, is it necessarily wrong? Does it not make sense? Not exactly, but there are about 100 other things you say when someone says, you know, this is so sad. One of my things, you know, that's what you say. Were you talking to Angel or me? Like, you don't trust me? That's too bad. This is so sad. I wish you would. There are a million other things you say. Not how disgusting. What's disgusting about his lack of trust? How is lack of trust ever described as disgusting in any way, shape, or form? That's just stupid. So then I thought maybe this isn't the end of that scene, or maybe it's continuing on into the next scene, which is, it is kind of disturbing and disgusting. It's the dudes playing these curses are actually they're going fishing. And they're fishing with human U.S. soldiers, or maybe soldiers from other countries, we don't know, but literally using them to fish for other fish-like curses and stuff. It's kind of disturbing, and that is disgusting. But once again, it feels like that's not the case. I'm trying to rationalize this stupid-ass line by her staring back randomly. This conversation, if that's the case, then the conversation just ends right there with a question, and we move on. I'm just, no. So, at best, like, maybe she's looking at the fishing and saying how disgusting, and it's just a really bad cut, because there's bad cuts all through this. As I said, they break up scenes that don't need to be broken up, and so that's done really poorly in the first place. So maybe this is implying that she's staring at the fishing? I don't know. I don't know. Either way, it's really stupid. And then, so we do get the fishing scene, yada, yada, yada. And one of the soldiers is in a pile. He's like, I'm a soldier. I know I'm going to die, but I don't want to die like this. This is awful. And then, boom, Angel comes in to save the day. But once again, okay, so we cut away to the fishing. Then we cut to Fushiguro and Yuji running away and stuff. And that's okay, but it's where they have the conversation. This isn't like you. You didn't mean what you said. Any of you met Angel and Sukuna, didn't you? Which, once again, Fushiguro brings up but doesn't say. We're trying to hide the fact that we know anything about Sukuna and the fact that he's inside you. Why the hell would you say anything so, such a heavy implication behind it? He doesn't bring it up, but I damn well am. And then, all of a sudden, we have this scene for 3 panels. So we cut away from the conversation. We do the fishing scene. That's fine. Then we cut away to this conversation for 3 panels, and boom, we're back into the flashback without any indication. Once again, no black in the background to let us know it's a flashback. Everyone knew it wasn't our mother, blah, 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 blah. And I followed a dog. It had a white fluffy tail. And then we see the fact that she was apparently saved years and years ago as a child. She was there for over a year, or under a year or something like that. Basically 12 months. And I missed this the first time going around. There was actually somebody else going, hey girl, you hungry? Or something like that. There is someone that was like, huh, there's a little girl out here all alone. She looks like she's 5. She's all ragged too. Someone called the police. So there is somebody there by the bus stop trying to help this little girl. And of course, Divine Dog is there and walks towards a very young Fushiguro. We get to see Gojo again. Gojo's back. That's kind of cool. That was a neat little, hey, there's Gojo. There's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. But I just found it funny because I sort of, when I was reading through the chapter on my phone, I sort of missed that there was somebody there at the bus stop with her, just in the telephone booth. And I was like, wait, so the Divine Dog led her away. Gojo and Fushiguro show up. And then Gojo just said, you're popular with the girls, huh? And then they walk away. They don't acknowledge her. She walks towards them. They don't even say hi. They don't even make eye contact, and they fucking peace. So this girl that clearly they saved, using Divine Dog or whatever, that it was on purpose, so to speak. They saved this girl from a curse, and they did nothing about it. Like, where's the rest of this story? Right? Where's the rest of this? Like, did they track down that curse pretending to be a mother and kill it? Did they destroy it? What did they do? Did they help this little girl? Apparently not. They helped lead her out. What about the other kids? What about the other kids that were there? Why didn't they go help them? And if they were going to do that, why? And if they were going to defeat the curse, why would they not just go in and defeat the curse? Why lead her out in the first place? And as I said, what happened to the other kids? So, because it's never implied that she's the only one left. Like, I have too many questions about this damn backstory, and the fact that they just walk away. No eye contact, no, hey, we saved you, have a good life, bye. Nothing like that. They just show up and leave. And they leave her at a bus stop with some random stranger, which, once again, I didn't realize that the first time, and I was like, wait a minute. She's still a 5-year-old girl or whatever, alone at a bus stop. Like, what? Like, you're just gonna leave her? You're not gonna help? Like... Anyways, very, very jarring, this entire exchange. And then we see that the fact that it is, the soldier does get saved by, of course, her, and she ends up eradicating the curse that was fishing. Yeah, we don't exactly see how it was done, but it was done. As I said, we know what the flashback is, and then boom, we jump back again into this flashback again, and it's all fate. I believe one day I would meet you again, and I will become... So she believes that Fushiguro, the one with the dog, was the one to save her from the fate, from that year of being under the curse and all that stuff like that. So she will, I will become someone worthy of standing by your side, and I will save people. Meaning she went against what Angel first said, no, I'm not putting Anna in danger, don't drag her into pointless battles. But once again, this is even weird, because we break up this flashback a few times for no good reason. No, seriously, we could have done this after they had their conversation. We could have moved all this. This could have all been one scene. The flashback could have been one scene when Hannah goes out to save the soldier. Then we get the flashback, then we jump back to the present. there was no reason to break this up. It just became really confusing, and then you had to reread the chapter. If I have to reread the chapter to find out what the fuck is going on and to piece it all together, that's not clever, that's just annoying. And then, as I said, here, she goes, I will save people, because she remembers this flashback, you know, how she was saved. Fine dandy, but Fushiguro didn't say a fucking thing in that conversation. Even Takaba said something. He said, he even said quarreling in that entire exchange. Fushiguro didn't say a fucking word. So, Angel said no, Yuji said yes, she said how disgusting, and then all of a sudden she changed her mind and went and saved people, which was Yuji's idea, so how is that relevant to... It's supposed to be this motivational, yes, well, I've decided to do this because you're right, but... Like, do you see what I'm saying? It's just so weird. Like, her flashback is, like, the story makes sense, but the fact that, and her motivation is fine, but the fact that she didn't speak up when Angel and Yuji were arguing, and then just goes against what Angel said anyways, and, like, it's just weird. And then her inspiration is the guy who didn't say a fucking word. It was all Yuji's plan and Yuji's idea that you were against, but then... randomly cutaway scene, boom, you're saving people. Like, it's all over the map for me. I did not care for this chapter at all, realistically. And then, once again, we jump back to another scene that we were already there after this. So after the soldier, and then the flashback, and then back to her in the present, and then we jump back to Yuji and Fushiguro's conversation that had 3 panels. Now we jump over to another, we continue that scene. Like, why are you breaking up all... You broke up the flashback a couple times. You break up this conversation. You break up... You're breaking up all the scenes. For what reason? It's just jarring. And it's annoying. So now we jump back to the conversation again. And then we get a lot of Nobara fans who were probably so excited when this leaked, I'm sure. Yuji basically said, you would normally, like... Or, sorry, Fushiguro says you would normally care about, you know, how she's feeling and stuff like that, but you were kind of like, you were kind of mean to her back there, you know what I mean? Like, you were kind of blunt and stuff like that. That's not like you. And he basically says that after reuniting with you, the thought of her becoming a replacement for Nobara, it scared me and stuff. And we get a big page of Nobara. Nobara fans are going to be, like, sort of disappointed but happy you get to see her. Same with, like, how Gojo fans, we got to see Gojo again, but it's in a flashback for only a couple panels. Still, we got to see him. It's probably bittersweet for people. There's theories out there that she's still alive. Of course, there's no confirmation of death. I believe she's dead, but, you know, there is the theory that she's working behind the scenes, like, outside. Yuji can't know that she's alive, because there's a lot of people theorizing that she's part of some squad that needs to be outside of Sukuna's influence, that Sukuna isn't aware, you know, and will never believe, you know, Kenjaku doesn't know, Sukuna doesn't know, nobody knows, and she's in the background doing some shit. It's possible, that is a popular theory, but, you know, it is what it is. So, either way, so, some people, Gege was giving us a little bit of crumbs in this chapter at the very least. We saw Gojo and we saw Nobara. And this is where Fushiguro basically said, don't be stupid, you know, and you just says, I'll apologize, you better. And the end part is her just saying, oh, you have something to say to me and stuff. It's like, well, so wait a minute. What happened between... This is what I don't understand. Where were they running to? What happened in between? Like, they have that... This is the problem with this shit. You're cutting away so many times, but it seems like Gege almost forgot important cutaway scenes. Like he cuts these scenes, chopped them up so fine that he forgot that, you know, the recipe called for a little bit of dicing, not completely shredded. And how did we go from, no, we're not saving the soldiers, how disgusting, to her saving them, her actually going and saving the soldiers like Yuji wanted, Yuji and Fushiguro running to, right, so coincidental right there? Or was this all planned? Or, because they seem to be standing there, they seem to be waiting for her, because there she appears, and she comes down and says, you got something to say to me? Like, this was all planned. So how did we go from Angel said no, and you just said fuck you, how disgusting, to her saving soldiers and fucking them being all cool now? Wait, what? The only thing that makes sense in this goddamn chapter is that Takaba has the final panel, and he's, the last panel is mine. That's the only thing that makes goddamn sense in this chapter. See, this to me was just cut up way too much for me, guys. Like, it just was. And as I said, upon a reread, you can get the gist of it, but there's no reason for a reread. There would be no reason if you just brought the scenes, because if you put all the scenes and you put them together in proper order, the chapter flows way smoother. Don't believe me? Seriously, go ahead and do it. Put the panels and the pages together as they should. Continue the Yuji Megami scene all in one shot. Cut out, put all the flashback together from start to finish, and then put the other scene. Then see how much better it flows. Because I did it. I actually did it. I saved all the images and I put them all in the proper order. Not even what order do they go in the chapter, but just the scenes that are diced up. I just put the scene, like part 1 and part 2 of the same scene, and I sandwiched them together, and it flowed perfectly. Everything made sense. We knew what the flashback was, because if you place that not at the beginning of the chapter, or even if you place it at the beginning but you put the black background so everyone knows it's not in the Culling game, it's a flashback, boom, you're solid. But you don't even need to do that, because if you continue the scene from the everyone knew it wasn't our mother and don't jump away to the present, if you actually just continue that flashback scene, then it all flows fine. It can still be at the beginning of the chapter. You don't, I mean, as I said, I prefer the black background to let me know this is not happening right now. But at the same time, even if you don't do that, if you put that together, it works so much better. It really does. So, yeah, I don't know why he was dicing this up, so, like, did he get a new kitchen knife and just really wanted to test out the blade sharpness? As he diced this onion up like it's crazy. This whole chapter is a diced up onion for something. I don't know what he's cooking, but it wasn't this. Whatever Gege thought he was cooking with chapter 210 was not hitting. That's all I'm saying. As I said, I don't mind a little bit of the flashback, it's fine, but I got questions. And as I said, it was jarring, the dialogue was odd, and the conversation, and just the too many cutaways. I don't get how we got from arguing and we're going to go our separate ways because I don't trust you and, well, you're disgusting, to, yeah, we're still working together. Are we missing a panel here or a page? Because I feel like we are. Anyways, yeah, so I didn't care for chapter 210, as you guys can tell. I'm hoping 211 is a lot better. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible, like, worst chapter, terrible retcons, anything like that, but it was a jarring chapter. It didn't really add much. All we now know is why Hana likes Fushiguro. That's it. That's the big takeaway, and it was done in such a poor manner that I just don't care. So, okay, so she was raised by a curse for a year. Got it. And Fushiguro let her out with the dog. What happened to the curse? The other children? Why did they leave her at a random bus stop instead of assisting her? Who knows? Because we're not told that. But anyways, is what it is. That's the chapter review. Hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly didn't. But I hope you guys, am I being too harsh? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys back here for chapter 211. Hoping it's a lot better than this chapter. That's it from me. Sayonara.